I'm Ian Rush and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. I'm your host Chris Pajak, and today it's the uncensored match build-up to Manchester City versus Liverpool. With me in the studio for the final time this week is Jack Hart, Aubrey Reynolds and the bib theorist Steve Hoare. Lads, thank you very much for joining me again this week. We're going to be talking about the champs, unfortunately. It's really fucking tough talking about Man City as the champions, actually, when we got so fucking close last season, didn't we? One thing that I'm kind of happy about at the moment, Jack, is that they've not really spent too big yet.
Starting from a strong position though, aren't they, with that squad? I think last year, I don't even think, they signed really impressively last year, but I don't think they were, proper top level players. They're all, all Champions League players, but not your Champions League winning players, your proper elite players. But that squad, although they've made changes to it, it's been steady over a few years, and they're just very impressive, aren't they? They don't need to go out and sign A-listers to be
I think
creating waves.
It's the spine of the team, isn't it, Aubrey, that makes them so good.
They're brilliant all over the pitch, because I know what you're saying, they're not the... But if we could sign Navas, Jovetic or Negredo this summer, we'd be happy. And they bought all three, and they're not guaranteed first teamers, and they're not considered big signings for Man City. I think they got there because they're completely different to us, but in a sort of similar structure. They could just go out and throw stupid money on it, and they did their statement signings. So they bought Robinho and they bought Balotelli and players like that, and now they've kind of gone into it and got settled. They've got a manager who's a lot more seems a bit more like Rodgers, a bit more studious, but knows what he wants, and he's going. And they've got such a strong spine, got such a good squad that they basically don't mess with that. But they can, if there's a bit of person out there, if there's somewhere they can improve, they go on and get that. I think the weirdest one though is Sagna. It just doesn't seem to, a stupid amount of wages. They've already got a good right back there, and then
a fantastic right back, haven't they?
I think it's between him and Coleman for best right back in the league. For me,
I think so. That's great. But then who was behind them last year? Does anyone know?
Richards.
Was it Richards maybe?
Yeah.
So maybe they just got on strength. But the only issue you see at the minute with the City team, I think left backs, I don't know, Clichy and Kolarov are great. They're all right, they're decent. And then it was the other centre half. Now the rumours are they're going to be getting Mangala in, isn't it? Because they tried a bit with Nastasic, was it?
So I thought he'd be amazing last season.
Yeah,
he just wasn't.
He got injured.
He got hurt, and then obviously Dean Michaelis was crap at first, got better.
It's comedy.
He did improve, to be fair.
He was good in the World Cup as well.
Yeah, and he settled. But the rest of the team was brilliant. Like I say, the spine, so you go good goalie. Joe Hart's decent, and they've just obviously signed what's his second name? Big Willie, I'm going to call him.
Caballero.
So it's a bit of a pressure maybe on Joe Hart.
Yeah, they've just released Pantamillion.
Yeah, he signs for Sunderland. It's a good sign in that.
I think the one thing you look at with them is that they could still, and I think more so than us at the moment, with a few key players missing, they could really suffer, because their key players are really key to them, aren't they? Company and Torre.
Yeah. The heartbeat of that side, isn't it?
If you took Yaya out of them as well, I think they would rate. And it's easy to say that because the play they bring in would be decent, but I think the fundamentals of how they play, aren't they? The team, for as great as their team is, it's built around the Company, Torre, Aguero, spine, pretty much in it, and a bit of Xhaka.
And when that's there, they look unbeatable.
But then last season they had Aguero, did he?
I think that it's a massive season for Aguero this year, Aubrey, because he's had 4 injuries last season, injured in the World Cup. Didn't really perform when he was brought on, probably rushed back.
Yeah.
It's time for him to get a season under his belt, isn't it?
Yeah, if his body will allow him, I think he's possibly... I like watching him play. It's better.
Say it, crocked.
Yeah, I think he could. When you just see it, you saw it in Owen, you saw it in Torres, where they've lost that, and either it's psychological or the body just won't do it. Now, it's good from a Liverpool point of view, because our major rival has lost one of their best players. But from not being a horrible twat of a Liverpool fan who just wants everything to be from a Liverpool point of view, he's a great player. It'd be sad to see him young, and also he's great to watch. When he was flying and scoring.
We've always got tapes of him.
Yeah,
I'll always watch the tapes.
I'd care about it in 5 or 6 years' time and think, that was a shame we didn't get to see more of him.
I think it's a massive I think it's a massive year for Jovetic. He's a good Jovetic, is it? Jovetic. I think he's a great player, and he didn't have a season last year, whereas he started pre-season, he's scoring goals for them.
The goal was brilliant the other night.
And I think he could come in, and obviously Negredo's injured, and that's where, is that just going to change their plans?
There was talk of Negredo going back though to Spain, wasn't it, just before he got injured?
Yeah.
But Dzeko, they just seem to have these players who come in at the right time, don't they, Steve?
Dzeko's great.
Dzeko came in, Milner was brilliant at the start of the season, Nasri at the end of the season. There's always someone who's performing well at the right time for them.
A lot of money, big squad, they spent it pretty wisely, and they could write off when they got it wrong. They quite comfortable.
That's it.
The one problem...
remember them, do we?
Yeah, well, as much as they spent a lot of money, like you say, early on in the City regime, Robinho,
Alano, do you remember Alano?
Alano come in, they brought...
They had Giovanni,
the
didn't
week as well.
Brazil. Even Tevez was great for them, but he problem. Yeah. Balotelli was the same. And get the big broom out the door. Jobs are good. Win the bet. But
well, you even
Steve was dared to get broom into the conversation. None of us actually thought he'd be able to do it, but he actually did it.
Get out the door. So he's done well.
They had a really bad summer, didn't they? They had a really bad summer like 2-3 years ago when they brought Sidwell, Rodwell. Not Sidwell, Sinclair, Scott Sinclair, Rodwell, and a few others.
But that's got that summer as well.
No, I don't think so.
But they've been able to write them off, haven't they?
Yeah, and they're the ones that didn't work.
Does Sinclair not score?
Scott.
He's back with them now, but it's kind of like the 35 million Andy Carroll noose still hangs around our neck.
Yeah.
No one talks about the 20 million Jack Rodwell noose or the...
Because it's not a noose to them, 20 million.
Yeah,
fucking
that's the thing. And listen, I don't hate City people. I don't. There's one of the teams who really don't. I hate Man United, for example. I'm not a big fan of Chelsea. They get on my nerves.
The difference between Chelsea and City for me is the fact that fucking Man City had a history. Yeah. Chelsea were established in like 2002 or something.
And I think City fans show as much. They show a bit of respect, don't they, as well, which is nice, which they do, and they appreciate.
And they went through a lot of shit, and they went down 2 divisions.
It isn't just pure hatred; it isn't venom. Listen.
They basically kept the money in those lower leagues for the years that they were down there with the fans travelling around anyway, didn't they? Right, before I forget, I've got a trivia question for you, and Dave didn't email me one this week, and I know that you only tune in for the trivia question, but anyway, it's a little bit more succinct this week. We've signed 5 players from City in total, 2 of which were Patrick Finnehan and Matt Busby. Can you name the other 3, and what is the total amount paid for the 5 transfers? Okay. Jack, did you see... Man, well, every Liverpool fan saw 5 minutes of the Milan game, didn't they?
I tuned in on the internet and flicked channels 10 minutes into the Liverpool match, so I saw the start of our game.
I stumbled onto a website that was playing the Liverpool match as well, but I did have City on the side as well. I don't know how I found it. I was probably looking on Team Talk or something. Nothing illegal anyway.
Perfectly legit.
So did you watch the rest of the
no, didn't
Milan
see,
game?
But
no, anybody?
No.
Yeah, I saw the last 5 minutes.
I saw that minutes when I turned on it. I turned on at 10 o'clock thinking, or 11 o'clock, we'd be on.
Where are we?
I tuned in as Jovetic scored, and it was a good goal.
Well, I was
impressed.
I was talking comments on Lovren on YouTube, so I got to watch quite a lot of the game. Like, but between that, Milan are pretty fucking shit. Yeah. To be perfectly honest with you, that's what I got away with from that game of football.
They were awful last year.
When does Sully Montari? When's he a good enough player to play for AC Milan?
Yeah, it's
shocking. Do you know what I mean? Did he play for Portsmouth?
Yeah.
When they got relegated. Yeah. And what's he doing playing for AC Milan? That's just fucking shocking.
He went to Inter,
What
He's played for both Milan clubs, yeah. How does that happen?
They were terrible last year.
He couldn't get in our fucking Wednesday night 5-a-side team, Sully Montari, and he's playing for AC Milan.
No, if you watched any of Serie A last year, they were terrible. They had Seido's lost a job now, and he got brought in to steady the ship, and binned them off and got Al Inzaghi's back coming to manage them. But you
feel for them because they're one of the world's great clubs, aren't they?
Yeah, and it kind of shows modern football in a way when they're getting absolutely dicked by Man City. Imagine saying that 20 years ago. Yeah. Prestige friendly 5-1 between City and Milan. You're going to think the other way round. Rolls reversed.
Which shows 4-0 inside 30
Which shows you that it shows you how far off Italian football's gone. You know, Italian football used to be the jewel in the crown, didn't it, football and all that, but it's become so much about pace, and it's become so against that.
Pace and power, isn't it?
Whereas Juventus won the league last year, and we're sitting here talking in the transfer one about how it looks like Vidal and Pogba are both going to be moved on because they can't keep
That wouldn't have happened.
They can't keep their best players anymore. They should have won the Italian league and be going out and buying Di Maria. They should be buying Suarez off us. They just don't retain them.
Unfortunately, it's the state of their economy, isn't it, along with anything else. Like,
but,
we are slightly off topic here, talking about Italian football on a Man City uncensored match build-up, though, unfortunately.
Let's go back on top.
So
it's still impressive, though, 5-1.
Oh, yeah. Right, this game for me, and I've spoken about it over the last couple of weeks quite often, is that one of the things that pisses me off about pre-season is that it's not about results. Yeah. I think you can get fit and try and win a game of football. Yeah. That's just me. I've said it every single week. I want our players to go out and get a little bit of revenge, but I think I'm the only person at the moment, Jack.
Well, it is revenge. I just want to see a good performance and hopefully a win. A few goals and some very positive signs throughout the different aspects of the play.
What you don't want is that. We don't.
And
it is about getting the tactics and the fitness. It really is. But again, if you're playing football, you might as well try and play to them.
I'd take a defeat this week to beat them in a few weeks' time.
The likelihood is,
the likelihood
is when all the subs get made, Man City's team isn't that much weaker now. It's probably a bit weaker, isn't it? You know what I mean? So the likelihood is that when all them subs happen, they'll probably look a bit more at it. But I want to see if we do start with our best team again. If Rodgers goes down that route, to see how we compete, and then obviously when once we're bringing the likes of Quartes and Robinson and they're bringing their better players, Sanya comes on and stuff, that's where the difference will probably show. But I think you can get confidence out of pre-season, definitely. Of course you can,
beating the champions.
I know Leicester beat Everton the other day. Leicester all think about that when they play in the first game of the season.
Yeah,
it's not. It isn't a massive thing, but if it's 0.5%. It's always
marginal gains, isn't it, in football and any top sport at the moment. Aubrey, Steve's just mentioned there about a strong starting 11. How many minutes would you be looking to play them for now? Because the time of 45 minutes and 50 minutes is probably up now, isn't it? And what side would you probably play?
What side do I think he'll play? I think he'll play the same team that started.
Torre, centre-back?
No, actually, he won't then, will he? He'll play. There'll be 1 or 2 changes, but it'll be as close to that.
Do you think I think Henderson skate up at 490s did the other day? Yeah. Which makes me think maybe he might bring Allen and Sarko in for those. Just off the top of my head, if you give them 90 the other day, maybe they'll go in now. But I think he'll start with a similar team. But again, Henderson, you could play him again.
Because he just always...
I'd like to think he might put Flanagan in there and have another look at him.
Flanagan got
maybe a game on both sides in this tournament now.
There's a bit of doubt over fitness. I say that I'd like to see more of Markovic, Sterling's storage, even if it's first half or second half. Get them
the three of them on the pitch.
Get them playing together as often as you can, because it's a new attacking trio that looks like it's going to be our attacking trio that we start the season with Lallana's injury being what it is.
Yeah, I think it's also time that we probably saw Lambert and Sturridge, even if it's just 20 minutes, just to see how those two are going to play together. Maybe go to the diamond, because that's not something we're going to drop, I don't think.
He's been training, he's over there now, so whether he gets a bit of time. But Lambert, to me, I know it's only been friendly, it still looked a little bit fish out of water-ish.
Which is strange, he's been back an extra week, hasn't he?
It's harsh when you get through on. You know what I mean? Against Preston he was playing, was it with pretty much the reserve team?
Yeah,
pretty much.
The kids.
And then the other day when he come on again, it was late on, and by then it was, I think him and I came on together, didn't he? And
none of them impressed, did they?
When they came on, I had a quick look, because I was thinking there's a bit of an age gap there, and Jordan Ibe wasn't 2 when we released Lambert the first time. So I thought that was an interesting detail there.
Yeah. So it kind of shows the experience gap to an extent, and so maybe you could, like you say, give Lambert a bit of a run out with the firsts, for lack of a better phrase. After, if you're going to play them for an hour, maybe give Lambert, bring him on at half time, and give him 20, and then change it again. And I want to see more of Ibe as well. I've been really impressed with him. I liked him last season. And he's
looked much better when the kids have been playing with him now.
Yeah,
he's looked a little bit fish out of water when he's been playing with the big players.
Yeah, I think he needs to learn, because again, when watching the under-21s for our website last season, I went to watch them a few times when I did. He's too good for that level. He's too good for that level. So, and if we are light up front and we're not going to let him go out on loan, whether or not, that's still up in the air, isn't it?
We're going to hinder his development by sitting him on the bench all season.
So this is the time now where you might want to give him a run out. I mean, obviously he's played bits and bobs. He started enough Notts County game, didn't he? I think last season. So I like him. I think he's got.
Everybody does. Everyone, if he can become 75% the player that Sterling is, we'll have.
He's more physically gifted in terms of strength than Sterling was. I don't think he's technically as good as Sterling, but he's got more physical attributes at the time. I think Sterling eventually learned to use his body more, and obviously like they're both lightning quick. And Ives' decision making is good as well. To be honest, he's got a good head on his shoulder, so I'd like a little bit more of him. Because at the moment, I'm just thinking if Touchwood doesn't happen, Sterling or Markovic.
That's not wood, by the way.
Sterling or Markovic did come out missing. Who starts wide?
Good in wood, are they?
Would it be Ives who starts wide? At the minute?
I think it would have to be, wouldn't it?
So, so you need him ready at the moment. Obviously, we're dependent on signings coming in and out, but if nothing else happens, it would obviously it probably should. I might be a starter or your bench option against Southampton.
We spoke a bit last week, didn't we? With
can't leave a touch metal, by the way.
It's a fucking fire, man. It wouldn't be made of wood.
I didn't see what it was.
It'd be the worst fire in the world.
It's a fucking chocolate teapot. With fire.
We were talking, weren't we, with John and Mike last week, and we were saying that there's a feeling almost as though it's Ibe or Suso for that last man in the squad sort of role. Yeah. So I'd quite like to have a look at them both within a similar lineup. I don't quite know how you do that or whether you do it in separate games, but I think I was leaning towards keeping Suso and giving Ibe that loan move this season, I think. But having another look at both in comparable lineups.
It's hard to compare the two, because I think if you're playing a 4-4-2 diamond, that role suits Suso more.
Definitely. If
you're playing a 4-3-3, it suits Ibe. So I wouldn't be adverse to keeping them both around. But it's getting players game time, isn't it? Which is what we've talked about before. But like, for example, we brought Quartes on the other day. Are we planning to keep Quartes? Because if we're not,
why are you getting them?
Let's give someone else those minutes now. For example,
he had to come on.
He had to come on because there was frig all anyone else. But now Sarko's back, maybe.
But I think that's where it is. That's I was just thinking. This is where after this, there's 2 more friendlies, isn't it? It's where the
it depends, doesn't it?
Might get to a
final, in which case
there's another one.
Yeah,
could end up playing Roma again.
It's where you start seeing who the outs are going to be. I think because that's where everyone's got to a level of fitness where they start playing players for like 60 minutes, 70 minutes before making the massive sweeping changes. So it might be like I don't think Peterson's going to get on the pitch in this American tour anymore now because his chances up. Same with Quartes and stuff like that. So if Lucas isn't coming on, you're probably looking at Lucas might be getting moved on and stuff. So I don't know. It'll be intriguing to watch because then you start seeing closer to the actual first team and the bench.
Do you think we could
the more you go on?
Pay Jack Robinson to just snap Colo Torre?
Colo?
Yeah, appreciate and Yaya.
And Yaya.
Both of them.
Yeah, just the two. Take both of them out.
And then Yaya, but Colo.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking, do you reckon you could maybe...
Yeah. I'd send Yaya a birthday card from Man City today. That'll piss him off. Like, you got my fucking birthday wrong again after the stink.
This,
do you know what I mean? What's going on there?
I think I wonder that's everything man. Just fucking kick someone just in the air. You just punch Aguero before. Quartes, we're selling you anyway, just chin in.
Just help us out.
As a leave him
just help us out, will you?
And again, I think if Quartes punch you, you'd probably laugh with you. He doesn't look like he's knocking out.
Hand in your flowers.
Right, I'm going to fucking put you all on the spot now then. Starting lineup, Jack.
Mignolet, back in.
Okay.
Sacco, if he's fit, with Skirtle.
Lovren not getting flown out on time, is
he? I don't think so. Enrique and Flanagan at fullback. I'd say have a look at Lucas in defensive midfield. Emre Can and Coutinho with the same front three as the other day.
Any changes up?
Wouldn't play Lucas.
No, I don't see the point either.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we're not going to keep Lucas, we've got a bit of a midfield problem then. If Gerrard's out, we're going to have to change the shape of the team. So I think we need to take a look at him and just keep on seeing.
Yeah, but take a look at him. We know exactly what you're going to get from him. He's going to foul a lot in front of his own box. He's not going to be.
And he can't do the role that Gerrard does anyway.
Yeah, and he's not going to be able to pass the ball.
He's the only one who could play in there on his own, though.
He's someone that we don't need to look at.
I don't know. I said this last year. I don't see Gerrard as playing a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
He's a deep lying playmaker.
Yeah.
I think Joe Allen's probably better for that.
Yeah.
Than
on his own.
Yeah. Because I'm not saying Gerrard's not there to throw tackles in and protect the back four in quite the same way as we think of Lucas or Makelele, yeah. But I think, you know, if Joe Allen's just there to recycle the ball, yes, he hasn't got the 40-yard balls, I understand that, like, but he will get the play moving. I don't know, it is a difficult one. We do know what we're going to get with Lucas, but what do you think, mate?
I would, well, probably play Gerrard if he wants to play, like, see how he feels, but I'd like to see Sarko again if he's fit. Mignolet, I think, should be back playing by now. There's no point. Obviously, you presume he should be alright. I don't know. He didn't play in the World Cup, did he? You know, we trained and stuff. We didn't actually play. I think the front three, I'd try and keep the same as often as I can. And I'd probably leave Henderson. He had 90, and you know what you get with Henderson. Henderson doesn't need the legs.
He doesn't need to fucking pre-season, really. He could have just started week 1. He
seemed alright, doesn't he? So maybe Allen.
Fans.
Maybe. Again, it'll just be much. I think now is the time where, you, like I said before, you might start just getting little tiny glimpses of what the manager wants, maybe in terms of who building up towards. Because again, we said this and maybe another 2 or 3 start, because the Dortmund game we'll probably start with our favourite. He's probably building towards the 11 to there. So again, yeah, I think I want to see the front three together again. If that's going to be our front three for this. And then the only other thing I would like to get a little more of a look at Chan, more than 45, if he's fit enough. He's played 50, then obviously he went injured, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he's had a half, so maybe give him 60, just to see how he is, basically, because if we want him to start the first game of the season, we need to see a few more legs in him, don't we? But, and brilliant. I think Chan Vittore could be, I'd like to just, like we
That'd be nice, actually.
Just he's a big physical midfielder, just see how he stacks up. He might get torn apart, but
I just fucking want to throw the shoulder in.
It'd be nice if he announced himself like Sissoko did against Ballack all those years ago.
Exactly,
Smashed a performance like that.
Right, we've gone well over our 20-minute budget now for Uncensored match build-up, so I'm going to have to stop you there, gents, I'm sorry. And I'm going to give you the trivia answer, but before I do, I'm going to ask you one more time the question. We've signed 5 players from City in total, 2 of which were Patrick Finnehan and Matt Busby. Can you name the other 3, and what is the total amount paid?
You know 2.
Go on.
Yeah. Bellamy and Fowler.
Yeah.
Both for Nottingham.
Yeah.
I'm struggling for the third.
Torre? Did he come straight from City?
Colo,
yeah.
On 3.
So there's your third one, right? So how much did we pay in total?
Including the other 2?
Including the other 2.
I don't know.
£8,150. So well done, anyone who got that one.
How much was someone £8,000 or was
Matt Busby, I think it was £8,000, and Patrick Finnehan was 150 quid. Worth more than fucking Harry Sissoko. So fucking like, do you know what I mean? Right, it's been an absolute pleasure, gents, staying with me all week this week, talking absolutely everything on our 3 exclusive subscriber shows on www.theredmentv.com. We've done a final word show on Roma and Olympiacos, which was 45 minutes. We did a Red News roundup where we managed to talk for like fucking an hour on everything Liverpool related, from the Remy deal to Lovren signing to the tragedy and enigma, or Trinigma, if you will, of Glenn Johnson. Does Aga have a future at the club? Lallana out for 6 to 8 weeks. Where does Reina fit in with the squad? And Joe Allen, his big year. Sounds like a fucking autobiography, doesn't it? Joe Allen, my big year. We also did an absolutely unbelievable debate on the Reds transfer round.
And we sorted nothing.
Which we did, basically. We talked marquee signings, we talked Marco Reus, we talked that idiot Bertrand, Moreno, Vidal, Rojo, Rodriguez, Boney, Benzema, and we actually forgot Isco, but it was down on the agenda. So, guys, now's a really good time to sign up for the free month. It's £2 thereafter. Obviously, with the season coming, we're going to be ramping up the content on the website as well. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Let me know what your thoughts are on the predictions for the Man City game, who you think will start, why you think those players will start, in the comment section below. I'll be online for about an hour to an hour and a half as soon as the video's uploaded, chatting Liverpool Football Club with all of you guys. Okay, gents, thank you very much for joining me once again. I'll see you in the comment section below.
Look at him, G-Man. Come here, Dave.